Today on Eagle Nation News. With our national holiday tomorrow, a high-level patriotic promotional film was taking place just down the road. Colton Boston turns the camera to see the video that you might see on TV. As the Prosper Theater Department performs the musical Frozen Jr., the impact goes beyond the stage. Vivian Pecori takes a look behind the curtain to see the story. The Prosper Lady Eagles volleyball team are going to round 4 of playoffs, and one special player is leaving her mark on the program, but also in the world of volleyball. Parker Reynolds digs up the story of Aiden Ames. All this and more on today's edition of Eagle Nation News. Good morning, Eagle Nation. Thank you for joining us. I'm Landry Long.
And I'm Isabel Molter. We have a patriotic show for you today exploring how Prosper is honoring our veterans. So stick around, ENN starts right now.
Welcome back, Eagle Nation, and thank you for joining us here again at Studio 301.
Today is Friday, November 10th, and tomorrow is Veterans Day, a day to salute all who have served. Your sacrifices ensure our freedom, and your courage inspires us all.
Prosper invites you to participate in the Veterans Day 5K tomorrow at Frontier Park for a day of honoring and celebrating our veterans through fitness and community.
Yes, happy Veterans Day, and again, thank you so much to those who have served our country. Now, Landry, I've been loving the cooler weather lately, and Starbucks releasing their winter drinks is definitely getting me into the holiday spirit.
Yes, the chilly weather and the new sugar cookie latte is definitely growing the holiday feels.
And on the topic of growing, it seems like Prosper is never stopping. Callie Swick is live off of Prosper Trail and the Tollway at the future Padera development for more insight on the expansion.
Thanks, Landry. The Padera development is one of many projects that Prosper has set in place to make happen. This development in particular will be located right by the Dallas North Tollway. It will include a 25-acre highway subdistrict as well as a 9-acre neighborhood subdistrict. The neighborhood will act as a barrier for easier transition along the development of Shawnee Trail, and as the future highway is added onto, the urge for the creation of an urban environment will give the people of Prosper more opportunities for shopping, housing, and business. The development design will take place in 2024, and for me personally, I believe Prosper has a drive to make this expansion one that all residents will benefit from. On that note, what do you guys think about this back at the desk?
I know I am looking forward to the new shopping opportunities coming our way.
Of course, me too. Also coming our way are the holidays. As Christmas spirit rises and Mariah Carey defrosts, the Prosper Theater Department brings us a story that melts our hearts. Vivian Pecori braves the snowstorm of Frozen Jr. to hear the story.
Perfect, happy, shiny summer day.
Many dreams of a theater student is to someday make it big under the spotlight, on Broadway or even Hollywood. The cycle is always turning, with talented young students coming in and seniors leaving as they pursue their passions as careers. So how does Prosper keep the cycle spinning, teaching the next generation? Last Thursday morning, the theater productions class put on a special play of Frozen Jr. for the PISD elementary students.
And how many of you are like, yes, I'm an actor, I want to act? Yes? Okay, great.
There are a lot of kids who have a musical or just a talent, and they should always explore it. And I feel like theater is a really good place to explore, musical, you can do paint, you can do dance, there's so much things that you can do, acting.
This generation just needs something to do, and theater is something great. It teaches you how to lose and win with grace, and in general it just teaches you amazing life lessons, in my opinion.
So I think theater is a marvelous thing to pass down because it is passing down culture. It very much teaches empathy to new people. They get to experience new things without actually having to go through that. These stories are meaningful. The community is meaningful to so many people. I know theater has been a second family for me, and it's a great environment, I think, for the younger generations to grow up in.
From talented performances
Elsa, what have you done?
I'm so sorry, it was an accident.
to over-the-top technical details. The young students get to experience all of the magical sides of theater.
Could you show us the way? Yeah. Why?
For Eagle Nation News, I'm Vivian Pecori.
has put on some spectacular shows in the past, but I have to say my personal favorite might just be Frozen Jr. What about you, Isabel?
Yes, Frozen is so fun because you probably know and love all of the songs.
Yes, the drama department is so talented, and I love to see how they're passing on their wisdom.
Speaking of drama, celebrities are now getting recognized for what they've earned, or are they? Up next is Talent Talk, sponsored by Cookie Co.
In this locally owned and run store, cookies are made with real ingredients, real love, real good. So when you're in the mood for a delicious bite,
come try us out at Cookie Co. Frisco.
Some of our favorite singers and actors just got some awards.
Christina Krasnova has more on who those are. Christina?
Thanks, Landry. People magazine has just announced their sexiest man alive for 2023. Who is it? Well, apparently people thinks it's Patrick Dempsey. This pic was announced on Jimmy Kimmel Live on Tuesday night. Check out the cover. Some people might think that he looks good here, but I'm not too sure. He even said himself in the magazine that, quote, "I'd completely forgotten about it and never even contemplated being in this position. So my ego is good." I definitely prefer him during his era of being McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy. Maybe that makes him fit for the role since according to CBS News, quote, "He has always been considered among the world's most handsome men, but to me, he's a bit past his prime." But someone who is still thriving and in their prime is Taylor Swift. The Grammy nominations were just announced on their website and she has 6 well-deserved nominations. Her album Midnights is up for Album of the Year and Best Pop Album, the song Anti-Hero for Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and Best Pop Solo Performance, and Karma featuring Ice Spice for Best Pop Duo/Group Performance. When I was scrolling through the nominees, I was also pleasantly surprised to see that SZA is up for 9. She's been doing really well lately and I hope she places. Tygo for Water was also up for Best African Music Performance, which is a new category and one that he definitely deserves to win in. However, I also saw that I'm Just Ken is up for Best Song Written for Visual Media. What's that about? Also, Ed Sheeran's Subtract is up for Best Pop Vocal Album, and that is truly just confusing. I forgot he existed. On that note, what do you guys at the desk think about the nominees?
I'm not surprised that Taylor's name is in with the nominees, and I will be so happy if she wins. She definitely deserves it.
Definitely. I mean, there were some hot takes in that talent talk, but of course, I love seeing Taylor Swift's name up there. But honestly, what stole my attention was the I'm Just Ken. That's amazing.
Although the nominations are starting, many Prosper sports seasons are quickly ending. Parker Reynolds has more in Game Time up next.
Prosper High School students, let's pack the arena for the boys basketball home opener game against Coppell on Tuesday at 7:30. The first 150 students will get free pizza. Show up and be loud.
One of my favorite times of the year, basketball season is finally here. And even though my Milwaukee Bucks are off to a rough start, Prosper basketball is definitely not. Parker Reynolds has more in studio with this week's edition of Game Time.
Thanks, Isabel. Our Lady Eagles already have 4 wins under their belt, starting their season with an insane 85-21 win over Frisco Centennial last Friday night, followed by 3 more wins this week, coming out on top 56-37 over Wiley East on Tuesday, and last night a 63-38 win over the Keller Indians and a 64-32 win over Colleyville Heritage. The Lady Eagles are set up to match with the Colony next Tuesday. And tonight marks the start of our boys varsity season with their first game tonight against Flower Mound Marcus at 6. Also tonight, football playoffs are here, and I think by now we are all well aware of our football team's dominating district sweep over this season, hoping to enter next week with an 8-game win streak and a win over Plano East. And with the win tonight, we would be set to match up with the winner of Lake Highlands and South Grand Prairie next week. Tonight's game starts at 7 at Children's Health. On Tuesday, our Lady Eagles also matched up with the Plano East Panthers. Now coming into the match, voters on Texas Volleyball Insider's poll had the game a 50-50 matchup with no clear pregame winner. But the Lady Eagles came to prove them wrong, sweeping the Panthers in the 3rd set, winning 3-0. This after defeating Arlington Martin in a very close 5-set match last Friday. The Lady Eagles are set to play South Lake Carroll in round 4 tonight at 5 p.m. The winner will either play Keller or Flower Mound on Saturday at 11 a.m. in the regional finals, and with a win in that game, take it to the state tournament. Finally, this Wednesday marked signing day for 23 senior Prosper athletes. Let's take a look at this year's senior commits. And if you saw the last slide on the very right, Aiden Ames, the 6'4" all-around hitter, is making noise in the world of volleyball. I sat down with her to hear how she got to the place she is today. If you've been to a Prosper volleyball game, you may have heard this name.
Number 9, Aiden.
But maybe not her story.
So I started when I was about 12 years old. I started in volleyball. I actually hated it at first. And then something clicked, and I got on a really good team, and we won nationals, which is like the biggest tournament in the volleyball world in the top division. So that really jump-started my love and my passion for it. Flash forward to high school and everything, I'm still playing and still love it.
Aiden Ames' high school volleyball career looked different from normal. Breaking the norm is not unheard of for the 6'4" all-around middle. She's setting a new standard of what a volleyball player can look like for younger athletes, playing with positivity to help motivate her team.
Everything's a plan, and we kind of look at the season and who's coming up next and what matchups are coming up next, and you'll see if you've ever watched her play, there's just a lot of smiling. She smiles a lot and celebrates a lot. She knows when to get serious, but she knows when to have a good time too.
Aiden's a great kid and a great teammate and a great player. She's definitely a leader on the court. She encourages everyone. She's a team leader. She wants to do what's right, and she expects people to do what's right too. So I think that the younger kids see that and they'll want to do the same thing.
With her success within both her school and club careers, Ames was eventually invited to represent Team USA's U19 team in Croatia.
So the first time that I was invited, I was cut, and I didn't make it. But that really motivated me for the next year to be better and to work on my game. I didn't see it at the time, but getting cut from that roster actually helped me for the future.
Even through the adversity, Ames came back to tryouts, made the team, and walked away with a gold medal after representing USA for U19.
Having the support of the community as she was playing all the games for the national team was great. Everybody was so supportive, and I think it really showed us what a great town Prosper was.
And just last week, Ames made a decision determining her future as she will play volleyball at the University of Texas.
I made my first decision pretty early. I was 16 years old, coming out right out of sophomore year. Looking back, I don't think I was fit to make a decision for my future at that time. So fast forward a year and a half, I decided to reopen my recruitment process and commit to the University of Texas.
As the number 2 player in the class of 2024, Ames hopes to continue her volleyball journey even after college.
So I would say that the Olympics is definitely a goal of mine. If I could reach that point of being the best in the world and representing my country, I'm going to work as hard as I can to reach that point.
For Aiden Ames, Prosper Volleyball has only been the beginning for her game, and the lights she will play under much brighter than those of the PHS Arena. Reporting for Eagle Nation News, I'm Parker Reynolds.
Make sure to show up for the 4th round of playoffs tonight to see Aiden in action.
Yes, so many exciting events this week and going into this weekend.
Yes, and on the topic of weekends, last weekend there was a film being made in downtown McKinney. Colton Boston takes a look behind the scenes.
This past Sunday, McKinney was used as a backdrop for a film by the Trinity Broadcasting Network, and it was directed by someone who has an incredible amount of experience.
So my name's Shane Suter. I am an independent producer-director that's been working with TBN for, I think, the past 20 years. I've done probably close to 20 television series and specials and dramas and that sort of thing.
And when it came time to pick the location for this film, McKinney was the best option.
You can see down the streets, there's flags put up and everything. But my art director, as we're trying to create the feel that we want, we both said this town does all the work for us. The hardest thing about working in this town was finding this town. We looked at probably 20 different towns around the Dallas area, trying to find a narrow street, 2-story buildings that were stuck together but had their own unique identity. I was really looking for the town where I grew up, in small town Kentucky.
But what is the idea around this shoot?
In this kind of Americana town, we're painting a picture of a different era, an era that wasn't so polarized, an era where if you didn't agree with somebody, it didn't mean you hated them, and you could still have dinner and hang out and be friends. And so in this metaphor where the two sides come together and they join in this movement going forward, we wanted to find a place that was evocative of those times where that sort of thing was possible.
And there was even an appearance by University of North Texas alumni Dr. Phil.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Well, I'm proud to be in McKinney, Texas.
And Shane even had a special message for PHS.
Prosper High School, shout out to you. I hope you enjoy a behind the scenes look at a pretty big project taking place right here in McKinney, Texas, and I hope you catch it on TV somewhere around the beginning of the year. See you then. Bye-bye.
It is so cool to see the behind the scenes of filming a promo, especially at this large of a scale and so close by.
Yes, and I'm a big fan of Dr. Phil, and so to know he was there too is super neat. And a huge shout out to Matt and Lori Crouch at TBN for making this possible.
That's all we have for you today, Eagle Nation. Thank you for letting us tell your stories. Once again, I'm Isabel Molter.
And I'm Landry Long. Have a great weekend, and go Eagles!